Evening all, I'm just getting everything ready and we're about to start in a moment. Okay, so the mic seems good, audio should be fine. Let's get the first system up and running and we'll be good to go in a second. Hooray! I have no idea what we're playing tonight, by the way. I just want to wing it. Right, screw it. Let's get the show on the road.
Juggernaut Live.
This is the main event of the evening. It's me.
Yeah, hello, how are we doing? As I was just showing you, can we have a moment of silence for these headsets? There's a stress point on the actual headset there, and it looks like my Turtle Beaches are going down the Swanee. Forgive the appearance. I'm really cold. It's very cold tonight, and as it's only me awake, I'm not going to set the fire going. There's no real point. So, yeah, I might be growing a bit of a mangina, but hey, it's better looking silly than being cold, right? Anyhow, I digress. I hope you're all having a good Saturday evening. I'm finished work, so I'm having a freaking great one. And there's no rhyme or reason to the games I'm going to play tonight. I'm just going to play a selection of games. Feel free to mention games that you'd like to see in the chat. At the moment, I'm streaming across multiple platforms. I gave it a test the other day, and it seemed to work great. But at the moment, live chat only works on YouTube. So feel free, my information is there. Go find me on YouTube, and if you want to chat with me there, by all means go ahead. The donation page, everything else works across formats, but chat at the moment will only work on YouTube. So if you want to chat with me, awesome. Please suggest games on any system, you name it, I'll think about playing it. But for now, I'm going to start tonight off with a bit of an oldie but a goodie. It's a shoot 'em up, and it's one I used to play a lot as a young boy. Let's try and get it running, and then you'll be able to find what it is. But first of all, because my controller is a bit wonky, I need to set up Joy to Key to make sure my inputs are correct on the system. Forgive my cracked copy of this game. It's very hard to get an original copy that runs on streams. I'm a little bit bunged up tonight for some reason as well. Perhaps it's just a cold. But I digress. The first game of today is, in case you didn't see it on the cracked screen, drumroll please. It is, when it's ready, Ikari Warriors on the Commodore Amiga, which is one of the greatest machines ever. And this game I hammered the shit out of as a kid. I loved it. I wasn't very good at it, but I loved it. I loved playing it, and that's the main thing with these old games. You may not be good, but you don't have a lot of money as a kid, so you make the best out of the games that you had. And Ikari Warriors was a fair conversion of an arcade game that I fondly remembered playing once on a holiday somewhere. I think it was Blackpool Pleasure Beach. And the Amiga conversion is very well done, although your bullets could do with being a bit more range on them. You gotta love the way they spin. You can literally say sit on it and swivel when you shoot them. Yeah, have it. Thank you very much. Whoa. Okay, graphical glitches there. Let me in. There we go. Well, thanks for nothing. I gotta run. Ah, getting blown up. I'm doing the old waggle the joystick diagonally and hope you get through tactic. Gotta watch out for those mines. Oh, god damn. I forgot how hard this was. I haven't played it in like 20 years. And my skills have not aged like a fine wine. They've aged like Bruce Forsyth. And for those of you in the States who don't know Bruce Forsyth is, just think of a wrinkly creep, okay? Yeah, with a chin that sticks out like it was taking its own form of Viagra. Hey Skate, how's it going? Nice to see you nice. And you look at his Viagra-filled chin, you'll never look at Brucey the same way again. Is that what he means by his Brucey bonus? Oh, I'm going to give him my Brucey bonus. Nice! Now we're going to play it a little bit safer this time around. I don't want to embarrass myself by dying horrifically like I did in the last one. Now that we've got a gauge for where the enemies are starting to spawn, hopefully I won't die as much. Cool. Space Invaders is always groovy skate. Simple, fun, fan-dabby-dozy. Poof. Whoa, watch the mines. Bang. Yep, play it nice and safe, clear a screen a bit at a time, wait for the next wave. That seems to be the way to go. Oh shit. Whoa. And watch for the explosions. Damn! Ah. The explosions got me. Good job there's another tank nearby. Whoa! Damn. Walked on the mine. There goes the tank. Come on. Woo! Yeah. Now this is going to be tricky without a vehicle. Ah. See, the control mechanics on this mean that you have to hold the button to fire a grenade, so you're always delayed a second, possibly two, before your grenades actually fire, which kind of makes those situations cumbersome, I think the word is. Not impossible, but just a little bit annoying. And you see now I've got a power up, which makes my bombs a lot more meaty. Ah! Damn. Okay. Woo! Whoa, that mine's coming towards me. Okay, now how the hell am I going to get through this? What will I be playing after? I haven't got a clue, Skate. Today is a free play day. I've no kind of idea, no agenda, no series of games, no rhyme or reason, just games I flick through and fancy playing, games that people suggest. I am easy and breezy tonight, my friend. Oh crap, the explosion got me. Ah! Lame. Jug a note. And that's the reason why I spell my name the way I do, because that's the only way you can squeeze it into 8 characters. Bit of trivia there for ya. Okay, so should we have another round of Ikari Warriors, or should we move on? I think we should move on. I think we've pretty much seen all that there is to see on Ikari Warriors. What's next on the list, I wonder? Let's see, what else can we play? I know! We can bust out my old friend, the Random Select. Much like the Random Select series I started, and haven't done in a little while. Let's do it for an Amiga game. Yeah, why not? Why not? Good idea, Juggy. Good on me. Right, here we go. Where is my random selector? There's my countdown timer. I don't want no countdown timer. Where is my random program? There it is. Okay, so let me just add this window real quick and dirty to my browsing site thing. So let's get a window rocking. There we go. Here is my random file selector. Okay, so I'm going to make it a little bigger so you can see what's going on. And for some reason my controller map isn't working, so I'm going to hide that for now. But you can see, hopefully, that my random picker is ready to rock. And we're going to move it to my Commodore Amiga directory. Let's have a bit of an Amiga sesh tonight. So I'll put it in my emulation, and then we'll navigate over to Commodore. Takes a while to get there, but we will get there in the end. Let's get the ADF files listed. This will take a second or two. I look like I'm in a frickin' poncho. I apologise for my attire. I do look ridiculous, I know, but I don't really care. Okay, so the picker is ready. So I've just got to add my extensions of .zip and .rar and .7zip, and we should be good to rock. Random selector, do your thing. What are we going to come up with? Okay, so we have a selection here, and I've already seen the one I'm going for. It's that bad boy right there, Wizkid. I have fond memories of this game. Such fond memories of this game. It's really hard to explain. How would you explain what Wizkid is? Well, it's kind of a puzzle strategy game with adventure game elements, but it's completely batshit crazy. That's pretty much the only way I can describe it. It's indescribable, it's beautiful, it's a masterpiece, and I've never played a game like it before or since. It truly is a unique snowflake. Let's get it rolling, and you'll see what I mean as we play. It's got a little brief tutorial, and then the rest you got to figure out by yourself. It's special. Let's just say that it's special, this game. Whew, yeah. And I haven't played it in years, so I will forget most of how to play this game. I'm sure of it. But you're gonna love it, trust me. If you have a open mind, you're gonna love Wizkid. From the very beginning, we're gonna let the intro play out because I remember it quite vividly, and yeah, it's awesome. It truly is awesome. When it's ready. Amiga games take a while to load. They are on floppy disk after all. And while this is working under emulation, it is using cycle accurate emulation, so it uses every moment that it would take normally for the game to work to load. It's pretty much perfect one-to-one emulation. It's as good as using the real system. Pretty much. There are a few discrepancies, but they are few and far between, and for gaming purposes, this is pretty much perfect. Win UAE, the guy, Tony Weiland, is a genius. He works diligently, non-stop, constantly improving the emulator. The emulator's been going for years, and it seems like every few days he's adding major improvements, like 64-bit PowerPC emulation support, which was previously thought impossible. He did it. It emulates every system of the Amiga known to man if you have the chipsets to support it, and the Kickstart images. Yeah, what a wonderful emulator. It's probably the best emulator I've ever used for any system. And it's one I don't feel bad about using because, as I say, it's as good as using the real thing. Now, it's still loading. We're going to fast forward a little bit. Here we go. watch in awe. That's all I'm saying. It will happen, trust me. It's a black screen right now, but magic is going to appear on that screen any moment. It's worth the wait, it really is. It's a long wait, but it's worth it. It's just thrashing the disk access right now. I didn't want the sound of the drive ticking over because it gets really freaking annoying. Let's fast forward a touch. Here we go. Ocean was a label of quality back in the day, for the most part. Sensible Software, however, was a constant source of amazing games. Behold, Wizkid. I love this game. Now, as I say, it's been a while since I've played this. I don't remember how to get through all of the adventure parts, but this game, no matter how far I get, you're going to be interested in this. I'm sure of it. This game is beyond explanation. It's beyond anything you've ever seen before. If you have not had the pleasure of trying Wizkid or seeing it for yourself, then you're welcome. Okay? Okay. Right, so everything's good to go. So use is fire and jump is up. Good, good, good. Okay, let's play. Now, this is the story of Wizball 2. Wizball 1 was kind of an eclectic game where you use this green head to bounce around these colourless levels and use this cat item to kind of fill up your system with ink to colour the world around you. It's really weird, really interesting. The sequel, nothing like that. You'll see for yourself. Here we go. So, at first, we've got a tutorial. Tutorials were few and far between back in the day. This was released in 1992. You didn't see tutorials very often, but this game needs one. Okay, here we go. My name is Beady Snail, and it's my job to help you learn the wonderful world of Wizkid. Your head can dislodge bricks. Good. Killing bricks. Flying bricks kill baddies. Woo! Woo! Mega! One brick can kill many monsters. Oh, missed. I need a bit of a run up. Oh yeah. Hit the purple brick. Your reward for a multi-nasty destruction is a bubble. Touch the bubble to pop it, and you notice it goes to the top of the screen. Collect different colour notes and try to make a tune. Some bubbles contain a prize. Pop this bubble to gain a clown's nose. Now all the tiles you dislodge can be juggled on your head. Whilst holding down the fire button whilst juggling will enable you to direct the tiles. Oh yeah. Pop this bubble to gain thunder choppers. Holding down fire will enable you to pluck single tiles, as opposed to a whole group. It's also possible to catch flying tiles with practice. Congratulations, training complete. One last thing. To complete a level, pick up this kitten. Good luck, soldier. Okay, and if you aren't confused about what this game's trying to portray already, then it's just utter madness. I love it. It's pure chaotic 90s energy, and it's great. And the music's pretty good too. It's catchy. Your head will bop. You might even have to bring out the big guns. Here we go. So you've got to watch the enemies from touching you. You've got to stop that from happening. And the trick is to use as little of these items and these objects as possible, because you need them to kill multiple enemies on multiple stages. Okay, so I've got the clown nose. I'm trying to juggle it on my head. And we managed to do so. So let's pick up the coins and we move on to the next area. Woo! Whoa, that was close. Did you see how close that enemy was? Okay, we got lots of notes from that. This is an Amiga exclusive, I believe. It may be available for the Atari ST. Yeah, it never came out on a console, I know that. Didn't even come out on the CD32 officially. But no matter what system you play it on, if you like weird, interesting, unique games, then well, this is it. Don't get much weirder than this. Okay, let's pick up the notes that we have available. And this is where tactics come into play, because I don't want to waste too many of these blocks. I'm running out of them, he says, watching one slip either side. So I'm going to try juggling. Ah, nuts. Yeah, there we go. Okay. God, too much. Okay, we got it, we got it, we got it. Let's kill the penguin with one. I missed. Ah. And this is a game that really benefits from joystick control instead of joypad. I'm using an Xbox One controller, which isn't ideal for this kind of game. You've got to be quite precise. But anyway, I'm going to juggle my nuts. Please bear with me a second. I'm going to juggle my nuts some more. I didn't get satisfied enough the last time. Woo! Ah, my nuts are dropping. Ah! I need my nuts. Oh, I can't lose my nuts. Oh yeah, my nuts are doing damage. In your face. That should do it. Okay. Nope, not quite. Ah, missed. Alright. Well, we get through that level anyway. Now this one's going to be all about timing. Ah! Got hit. Whoa! Yay, I've completed the song. Let's get the money, because we are going to need every bit of that for later on in the aforementioned adventure sections. Now this is the first part of the adventure sections. You use the coins that you earn in the puzzle sections to collect items. And you need these items to progress further in the game. So that's all I can buy right now. But I'm gonna get my body. Yes, you're not just a disembodied head. You have a body, it's just attached. You have to dodge the floaty mechanics a little bit. Now, you would think that there isn't a great deal to do here. But that's where you're wrong. Because this is where the game goes totally off the freaking hook. When you're on the crapper, you like to read or use your phone. Dogs like that too. And there we go. So where are we now? A hidden room, of course. Where else would we be? So there's a hidden entry. We can get that 10 kilo weight. And we'll drop that there. Dog was here. And so were we. Okay, we just gotta wait for it to load. And let's go down the well. We're just like Timmy. We're falling down the well! What's this? Oh, I've got a clue. Let's open the loo. Letting off some steam. Yeah, steam. Why am I using every toilet when you think I've got the result already? Because why not? Oh yeah. Okay, so we've used all the loos. I can't do anything else at this moment in time. So let's leave the room. And let's go into the other toilet. I need another object to use the machine. But what's this? My urinal's got a clue. Uh-oh. One sprung a leak. The well's flooding, and that's how we make our way back up. As I say, you've never played something quite like this before. Doop, 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 doop. And I gotta get out of here. It makes no sense, but I love it so. Look, there's the cat. That's all you need to finish a level. But sometimes you might find other hidden items or places to go. But we're moving on. We moved to round 3. We skipped a level. We're on round 3 now. We're now on Mount Wizkid. And if you aren't in love with this game yet, what can I tell you? Let's skip a little bit. There we go. Now you notice I can't actually move those bricks. I can only move these lighter ones, which makes life a little difficult. Ah, I missed. Okay, this is going to be problematic. Yeah, very problematic. I failed. I died. Move on to the next mission. If you run out of bricks to hit the enemies with, you lose a life and you move on. So, brick management is crucial. Ah, I missed. No! Okay, my chompers to the rescue. That makes life a lot easier. All of the power-ups in this game are vital for progression. If you really want to get far, power-up management is paramount. Ooh. I lost my teeth. Okay. Pick up a penguin. Or clobber one. Either way. No! Yes, with my final piece of object that I could use and throw about. I just want one. Ah. Okay, the clown nose will be handy. And we'll get that note as well when it comes my way. Perfect. Get as much of the money as we can. Woo! Oh yeah. Okay, so again, we've got a hidden screen that we can unlock. A star, which gives us lives. Red specks and green specks. I'm going to go for red specks. Wow, everything is red now. And we've got the 3 doors that we can approach. Which one should we take? Left, middle, or right? Let's go left. As I say, I cannot remember how to finish these adventure sections. It's been a long time. I've acquired an asterisk. Or an asteroid ship. What the hell? What am I doing? What am I doing? What's going on? Huh? Huh? Okay, I'm not sure what happened there. I can't get it to replicate, so I'm going to move forward. Let's see what's behind door number 2. Okay, let's try going left. See what happens. Yeah, you're right, Aphid. It makes no sense whatsoever. And that's why it's so freaking great. Because it is totally 90s madness personified in game form. It's when video game companies could take risks and didn't have to worry too much about the consequences. You can have some truly unique, unforgettable games. Like Wizkid. Trust me, you will never forget this game. You may have nightmares about it, but you'll never forget it. Okay, I'm going to skip forward a little bit, because I have no idea what I'm doing now. I have no idea how I get back any further in the game. Ah, yes. You hold down, and a balloon comes. And that takes you back to the store. I'm going to go back as just my head. And that way I can earn some more money. Oh, I'm losing so many bricks. That is not good. Nah. Whoa! Okay, we'll talk about coming out the blue. Okay, we made it. More cash. Woo! Ah, I missed. Didn't miss that time though. Oh, triple bounce. That'll do me nicely. Okay, I'm gonna miss the blue, but what you gonna do? Okay, that's 3 notes. Missed. Okay, I'm running out of bricks here. What's one? Oh, it's getting close. Really? Okay. Missed. Ooh! From downtown. Okay, one more should do the trick. Money, money, money. Come here, come here, come here, come here. Ah, come here. I need you. Right, 175. We can get the elephant, but we can't quite get the green specs yet. Let's get the hidden screen. Let's see what's there. Oh, nice. Good choice, Juggy. Money, money, money is all you need. Okay, now we should be able to get the green specs without much of an issue. Yeah. Okay, green specs. Let's see what we got. Well, utter darkness is what we've got. Okay, where am I? not exactly sure what happened there, folks. What I do know is... Hey, Cash! Right, we can get the red and the green together. No, you can only buy one. Shit. Okay. Right, well, we've done the red. Let's go back to green. Let's see what we got. Let's try the same room again, maybe? Okay. What? Wow. Okay. Well, I'm taking too many coins. No, they're all gonna go before I pick them up. No! Come back! Come back! Come back! Woo! Boof! Okay, so how do we do this then? Okay. If the green one is death, the red one does nothing. What do we do? There's got to be a combination of the green somewhere, right? Let's try another door with the green. Let's try this door. And this time I'm not sticking around. The moment I see my... I was going to say, the moment I see my character, I am moving. But no. The moment I see my character, it's game over. Type your name or rude word in now. Shall we give it a go? Let's put in my name. No. You got to put in a rude word if it asks you to. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that was Wizkid. If you haven't fallen in love with that game yet, I just don't know what to tell you. You have no soul. Because I freaking love it. Even with its cheap deaths, even with its ridiculousness, it's such a classic game. And speaking of classic games, let's go and check out another game. And you are absolutely right, I am never buying green specs again, Aphid. Green specs are obviously death magnets. Okay, so let's see what the random selector has got for us. So we've got well, Fighting Spirit I already covered in my last video in my top Amiga games for fighting. Cadaver is a interesting game, but not one that I think would work well on stream. Should we have a look at the Armageddon Man? Or Hybris? I have no idea what Hybris is. Let's try Hybris. Okay, so let's get this rolling. Let's prepare the Amiga. Ignore the crack throw that seems to be available in every game. Please insert drive L. Zombie boys. Naughty, naughty. Titan Spirit, favourite system of all time. Oh, that's a tough one. You mean aside from the PC, because the PC can technically run almost everything. Aside from the PC, favourite system of all time is very close. But for me, probably Xbox 360. Xbox 360, revolutionised the way we played games. It added DLC for a console, cross-game platform chat. It had a wide range of games, backward compatibility with Xbox. It had Xbox Live Arcade, so you had perfect conversions of things like Gauntlet. And it just had this wealth and breadth of video games that you didn't really get on many other systems. Apart from the 360, favourite systems, Sega Saturn, Sony PlayStation 1, and the Super Nintendo are all my favourites, along with the Commodore Amiga if you're classing computers. Commodore Amiga was my first real love. It was the first system I owned as my own system. Back in the day, I had a ZX Spectrum, which I had to share with my brother. But the Amiga was the first system that I had that I could class as my own. And I loved it. Absolutely loved it. It's probably what set me on the path I'm on today in terms of loving everything to do with video games. N64 is a good shout, but because I live here in the UK, the N64 was very poorly supported here. We would get games maybe a year or two after the Japanese and US launches, and the games, they were still 50 hertz, so they were a lot slower than the American ones. N64 for me was a bit of a letdown, although some of my favourite games ever are on that system. And PS3, well, what I said about Xbox 360 can kind of translate for the most part over to PS3. While it was a bit behind with the online stuff compared, it still had some great titles in its own right. The Last of Us is one of the greatest video games of all time, and yeah, I can understand your reasoning behind that. Yeah, for sure. But let's check out Hybris. Oh, it's got funky music. Ooh. Controls a bit swanky. It's fairly responsive. The enemy ships are very smoothly animated. Very nice indeed. And they come thick and fast. Okay, I'm going to have to pause this because that is too good a music tune to actually... Oh, Dreamcast. How could I forget about Dreamcast? Oh, son of a bitch. I deserve a slap for that. Sorry, Aphid, you are absolutely right. Dreamcast is an amazing machine. That is right up there with the Saturn, the PlayStation 1, and the SNES for me, too. Crazy Taxi, Virtua Fighter 3TB, Metropolis Street Racer, Shenmue, Skies of Arcadia, Phantasy Star Online, Quake, Unreal Tournament. Oh, the list just goes on and on and on. I love that machine like it was a child. Not in a creepy way. I mean like a son, not as in a war child, which is really dodgy. Dreamcast is a very good system. I remember having my mind blown seeing Soul Calibur, and for the first time ever realising that not only were we getting arcade perfect games in the home, we were getting better than arcade games in the home. Soul Calibur on Dreamcast looked 10 times better than the arcade version did, because the old arcade version was using the Tekken 3 engine, but the Dreamcast one had a whole fresh lick of paint on it. And it looked wowifying, and that isn't a word, I made it up, but that's how I felt. And then following that up with Dead or Alive 2 was just amazing. Sonic Adventure, Sega Rally, even though it's not the best conversion, Sega Rally on the Dreamcast was yeah, top shelf. And I still have my Dreamcast hooked up to my TV behind me. I have a selection of 9-10 systems hooked up. I've got my key ones apart from the 360, which is in storage still. But I have an Xbox One, PS4. What else have I got there? The Nintendo Switch, the Sega Saturn, the Wii U, the Dreamcast, 3DO, N64, and original Xbox. Titan Spirit. The Souls games. Do you mean Dark Souls? Dark Souls? Yeah, I see the appeal. I imported the first game, the Demon Souls, and I got a kick out of that. I thought its difficulty was refreshing at that point. I thought, yeah, it's something that I could really go for. I played Dark Souls a little bit, but to be honest, it was more of the same. It was very, very similar. And that continued with the other Souls games, Dark Souls 2 and 3. I didn't even buy 3 in the end, I just stuck with 2. However, Bloodborne was incredible. Yeah, I have a 3DO. I've got 45 different consoles in my collection. However, I recently, well, not recently anymore, about a year ago I moved house due to some unforeseen circumstances. So I had to move house, which means a lot of my stuff is still in storage, including things like my GameCube, my Wii, my 360. But I have my 3DO here. I have my PC Engine CD upstairs. It's a Turbo Duo R. My Neo Geo CD is upstairs as well. But yeah, I got a fair few systems. If it was a major system over the last 20 years, chances are I have it either here or in storage somewhere, including things like the CDI. But I just have my favourites out. I've got my 3DO downstairs just to play Wing Commander. I love Wing Commander to death. And the Shockwave games were kind of cool as well. Ooh. I wish this game had an auto fire. I do have a Jaguar, but all of my games are in storage, so I don't even know if it works, because of course the Jaguar, it won't power on unless you have a cartridge attached. So I have the Jaguar upstairs, but the cartridges are in a box somewhere. I have most of the major games. Of course, Tempest is one of the greatest games of all time. Alien vs Predator, of course. Zool Syndicate was a great conversion from the Amiga. I think it's quite an unsung hero, that system. I think when people look back at that machine, they'll realise that maybe it didn't deserve quite the shitting on it got. There are some good games on the Jag, there really are. It's just a very small library, which is a shame. GBA with Backlight mod is an amazing machine. Congratulations to you for getting one. They are a wonderful system, and they have an immense library of titles. I play my GBA stuff through my GameCube, which of course has the Game Boy player attached to it, which allows me to do Game Boy as well. But to be perfectly honest with you, you can't beat having the real thing. And of course, handhelds, I have plenty of those kicking around. Unfortunately, all my retro handhelds are still in storage, including the infamous Tiger Game Comp. I have one of those, along with a complete set of games. Resident Evil, Fighters Mega Mix. Yeah, what a rip-off that machine was. They play nothing like the real thing. What else have I got here? Yeah, I got quite a fair selection here. 3DS, PlayStation Portable, PlayStation Vita, Nintendo DS. They're all kicking about. Anyone here got a Switch yet, guys? Yes, I have a Virtual Boy Titan. I've got 14 games for my Virtual Boy, and I would say only 3 of them are worth playing. In fact, I was tempted for an April Fool's video just to release like a top 20 Virtual Boy video and have it nothing but tumbleweeds and like the 3 good games on it. Well, maybe I'm being harsh. Maybe 5 games worthy of note on it. Is there anything I don't have which I would like? Yeah, there is. I'm just trying to think of something that I would really like to have that I don't have. I would really like one of the old-fashioned Macs. No, maybe an Apple II system. I don't know much about the hardware or the game library for the Apple II, so it would be nice. I have an emulator for it, but I haven't really had the time to investigate much into it. So yeah, I'd like a dabble with that kind of hardware. Old retro computers, maybe a Jupiter Ace, which doesn't have much in the way of software, but it's such a curio that I'd like to play with it. Maybe the Bandai Pippin, because I've never played any game on that system before. Just the really off-the-wall stuff. But the one I would like more than anything is the Sharp X68000. Again, I have emulators for it, but I think I would just love to have that behemoth of a system. It's just amazing. And to think that Capcom developed their arcade games from the 68000, they designed all the code on it. It would be an amazing system to have and collect for, but they're just too expensive. Do I collect special editions of games or just vanilla copies? Well, funny you should say that, actually. Excuse my poncho. Let's pause the game a moment. So I do collect the occasional limited edition game. As you can see, I got the Switch Zelda here in all its glory. It's very nice indeed. I do have the original version too. But to be perfectly honest with you guys, I don't really do that anymore very often. Let me show you some of the other stuff I've got kicking around here. Let's do a bit of show and tell, shall we, while they're here? Let's get the kids' stuff out of the way. Let's do an off the cuff, shall we? So I'm gonna need to take my headset off for this, but I'll still hear you. So I've never really done this before, but screw it. Let's hold off on the games and let me show you what I've got kicking about here, yeah? So I've got a couple of boxes. These are actually things that I was going to put on eBay because I was going to sell them. So we've got some Game.com games. This is still sealed. Sonic Jam, Duke Nukem 3D, Fighters Mega Mix for the Game.com, Williams Arcade Classics, and we got some other bits and pieces in here. We got some N64 games like F1, Super Mario 64. Now that's a special Super Mario 64. I don't know if you can tell, but that orange square, this is actually a Singapore only copy of Nintendo 64, Super Mario 64. The Singapore version is unique in the fact that it's an NTSC game, but it runs at 50 Hz. So you don't see very many of those. Got a couple of sealed PS1 games, F1 2000. Of course, copious copies of Final Fantasy, Warhawk, the original. Got a nice sealed copy of Rockman, Mega Man X, Rockman X. A few PlayStation bits, K1 Premium Dynamite, Capcom Classics Collection. Sealed copy of Hidden and Dangerous for the PS1. So these are all my doubles, really. They're literally in my living room because I want to kind of just sort them out and put them on eBay. But I don't really collect games that much anymore because I have two kids. My kids are very young and very small, and they are nightmares. So a lot of my collector's editions and special editions are from, you know, the time before they were born. My oldest is going to be 6 in 2 weeks. And my youngest is going to be 2 in September. So this is quite a nice one. Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter for the 360. This is a limited edition, which has both games in a kind of presentation box. I'm going to get rid of my logo so that you can see it better. There we go. So it's Ghost Recon 1 and 2 in kind of a collector's edition box set. Soldier of the Future edition. Let's see what else we've got of interest here. Ah, here we go. This is something interesting. Side pocket for the Bandai WonderSwan. Yes, I have a WonderSwan. Yes, it is a very good machine. And incredibly, the WonderSwan only uses one single battery. One single AA. And you can play amazing games on it. Golden Axe on that system is wicked. The Guilty Gear versions on that system are wicked as well. I've got a 3D designer pen that I don't really use. In fact, most of the plastic that it comes with is still there. The idea is that you can doodle in 3D space, you can build 3D structures with it. But yeah, it wasn't for me. I didn't really find it as intuitive as I thought I would. Let's see what else we got here, shall we? If I'd have thought of this beforehand, I would have come prepped and shown you some really cool stuff. This is just what's kicking about in my living room. A sealed copy of Digimon, the American version, Digital Card Battle. Fighting Force 2 with a layer of dust on it because it's not been touched for years. What else we got here? Huh. ATV, Quad Power Racing, again, part of my sealed collection. Back in the day when I collected sealed copies of games. Here's an interesting one. Treasure of the Deep. Now, if you look at the box, you can see it's quite a unique clamshell. It's not your regular PlayStation 1 box. And the reason being is that in Europe, you couldn't buy this normally in retail stores. It was an exclusive to Blockbuster, and I managed to get one ex-rental. So, yeah, it's a bit banged up. You can see the price I paid for it there. £4.98, and yeah, had a good time with that. It came with no manual, so what Blockbuster did, really tackily, is they print out a single sheet with the controls on it. And the actual copy of the game is a rental only copy, so it's quite limited and very hard to come by. That game is actually quite rare, surprisingly. Let's see what else we got here. Anything interesting? Oh, Conker's Bad Fur Day is awesome. One of my favourite games of all time. One game that isn't one of my favourite games of all time. Gubble. Now, if you're a fan of the game Grumps, well, you'll know all about this game. It's Gubble, it's sealed, and it is shit. What else we got? Cool Borders, but nobody's interested in Cool Borders. Anyone like K1 Kickboxing? Yeah, that's a fairly uncommon game at this point. Got some Japanese ones. Tokimeki Memorial Forever With You. It's a dating simulation game, all in Japanese, unfortunately. But it was really well put together, a really good game. But I had to download a translated copy to actually play it, because the Japanese language barrier was just far too high. Oh, here's another good Japanese game as well. The King of Fighters 97. One of the few rare PlayStation 1 fighting games that isn't butchered to death because of the PlayStation's limited RAM. They actually worked really hard and kept all of the information of the animation as best to their ability on the game, and that ended up being a really good conversion, very good conversion indeed. Let's see what else we got here. There's not a great deal here, as I say. This is just off the cuff. This is stuff I was going to sell because it's, you know, it's kicking about and I have no real use for it. I'm not interested in having it in my collection anymore. Let's have a look in this box. Let's see what's in here. Oh, we mentioned it earlier. Dead or Alive 2 for Dreamcast. There we go. One of the greatest beat-em-ups of that era. Really understated game. Everybody says it's nothing but tits, but if you actually gave it a chance, you'd find that it's a hell of a fighting game in there too. We've got some classics coming up. Crazy Ivan. Remember when everyone was going nuts for Crazy Ivan? It was a Psygnosis Masterclass back in the early days of the PlayStation 1. Very highly sought after back in the day. As was Doom. Doom on the PlayStation really is what set the bar high for the system. It not only was a very good conversion of the PC game, they actually improved on it by adding transparency, lighting effects, new levels. Doom was a very early must-have. Lapis Reaper, yeah, one day I will do PlayStation 2. The difficulty with PlayStation 2 is recording footage. Emulation isn't great, and I currently don't have my PlayStation 3 available. My PlayStation 3 is stuck in storage, so recording footage at the moment is going to be hard. What else we got here? Oh, Forza Motorsport for the Xbox. Great game. One of the greatest racing games ever made. Undoubtedly at this point the greatest simulation series of racing games. And that's about it. We've got a PlayStation Vita game, Batman 3. That's about it for these boxes. If I pan my camera over, you see two boxes in the corner there. Those are full of Dreamcast games that I am going to unpack sooner or later and put into my collection. I haven't got any shelving yet though. The plan is, right in this corner over there, you see where the suitcase is? I'm going to have bespoke shelving that goes from floor to ceiling there, and I'm going to store my Dreamcast collection and whatnot there. I have a complete set of Dreamcast, so yeah, I have every single game available for Dreamcast in my collection, but unfortunately due to moving and whatnot, they're all in boxes. Again, I apologise for my attire. I know I look retarded in this, but it's very cold. I'm not setting the fire up just for me. I am just gonna wear this to keep warm. It's my wife's. I know I look like a fucking mushroom, but it's better than being cold. But anyway, that's the end of show and tell for now. As I say, it was very impromptu. If I'd have thought about it, then I would have thought harder. Do I have a Vita, Lapis? Yes, I do. Love my Vita. It's one of the greatest systems I've ever owned. It's such a shame that there's not enough games for it. So, one of my favourite handhelds of all time is still its predecessor, the PSP. I wish the Vita had more support. But the PSP, I love so much. I've got 3 of them. Basically, my wife got one. I got 2. I got the original Japanese launch system, and then later on they released a follow-up model, which is this one in this case. And the reason being I got this one is purely for you guys. I got this model system because the old systems didn't have a TV output, whereas this one does. So if it's got a TV output, I can record footage from it, and therefore I can make a top PSP list in the future. And that is the only reason why I have this model. It's just to make a video for you guys, so you can look forward to that in the future, along with that Nintendo DS, of course, original model. I've got the 3DS, the new 3DS XL here too, which I'm using quite often at the moment. Yeah, they're all kicking about. I'm a big gamer. I'm not really biased when it comes to gaming. I love any and all platforms, and I try to see the best out of all of them. There are some I love more than others. I am not too impressed with the PlayStation 2, to be perfectly honest with you. I thought there was, in terms of game ratio, good to bad, the PlayStation 2 was dreadful. The reliability of the machine was dreadful. However, the quality games it did have made up for that eventually. But PS2 will never be regarded, in my opinion, as one of the greats. It won't be up there with the 360, it won't be up there with PS1. But, you know, a lot of people see the PS2 as their favourite machine ever, and fair play to them, you know. Each to their own. As long as we have fun playing, then we're all having a good time, that's all that matters. And speaking of a good time playing, let's get back to it. I think we've seen enough of that Hybris. It seemed like a very bog standard shmup. I think we've seen plenty of it. So let's switch back and do a couple more games before I head to bed. My favourite console, as I mentioned before, Lapiz, of all time, is the Xbox 360. The reasons being that the controller is one of the greatest ever made. The system itself was adaptable, it was future-proofed, it constantly evolved and upgraded and updated itself. It added things like downloadable content, downloadable games in the form of Xbox Live Arcade that we hadn't experienced before, or at least only experienced in small doses. It got things like cross-game chat and the ability to switch games from your dashboard without turning the machine off and on again. The ability to turn your machine off and on again from your controller was never done before until the 360 came out. The amount of improvements and the amount of innovations that system in particular brought is far more than any other console. It solidified online gaming. It wasn't the originator of online gaming, but it was one that solidified it in the marketplace as an absolute must-have for future systems. The infrastructure was solid, it was stable, it was secure. The game selection was immense. You had different games, diverse range of different genres and titles of all budgets, AAA, indie games, everything in between. The 360 is, for my money, the greatest system ever. Followed by probably the PlayStation 1 and the Super Nintendo. Although I have a really soft spot for the Dreamcast and the Sega Saturn as well. But yeah, the NES is good. The NES is solid. I never had one as a kid, so that nostalgia never really took on with me. But yeah, I can fully understand your reasoning for the NES. Yeah, that's a good shout. And if it makes you happy, fair play to you. I will be doing a NES list at some point as well. In fact, every system I own, the plan is, when I get free time from work, to do lists on them. One at a time. It'll take me forever. It might take me years to do all the lists, but I'm going to do one for every system I own. That is the plan. And speaking of the plan, let's play a game that was immortalised on the NES, but was actually released first on the old Miggy, and that is the Blues Brothers. Dum 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 dum. Yeah, Contra's great. I can one credit clear Contra. I love it a bit. Alright, let's get Blues Brothers going. Okay. So, we should be good to go now. Let's get rid of the picker. Let's adjust the chat so hopefully it's a bit more visible, so that people seeing this later on YouTube will be able to see what you're writing. Yeah, Mario. Now the question is, there's two camps of thought, really, two trains of thought, as to which is the better Mario game. Is it the original or is it Super Mario 3? For me, Super Mario 3, but you can't deny how awesome the original game was. But I digress. Let's get back into the Blues Brothers. It should be loading. Yes, there we go. Turn my headset on so I can hear the music when it comes in. Okay, I'm gonna lower the desktop audio a touch. There we go. Now, I haven't played this in years. I have no idea how good this is anymore. But I remember having a demo disc of it a long time ago. Back when demo discs were a thing. Can you remember those? When you got free games and stuff on the front cover of a magazine? Man, those were the days. I'm pretty sure I got half of my Amiga collection just from freebies. Oh, I wasn't in control there. Okay. Huh. Oh, Super Mario World. Yep. On the SNES. For me, Super Mario 3 still beats Super Mario World. But, and that's a big but, just like mine, Yoshi's Island, sorry, Super Mario World 2 beats them both. Yoshi's Island doesn't get the love it deserves. It was number one on my list for the SNES for a reason, and that's because it's a pure design masterclass. Boo! Oh, demo tapes, yeah. One of my fondest memories was getting a magazine with Thundercats on the front, and it was multi-format, of course. Multi-format. For the same tape would work on a Spectrum, C64 and Amstrad CPC. Now, place your bets, people. What's the betting that the background music on this game is going to give me a copyright strike? Tune in a couple of days, because the reason I didn't do a Zelda Breath of the Wild review was because Nintendo actually put a copyright strike on my Switch overview video. So I decided at that point, right, I can't. If I can't display 30 seconds of Zelda without getting Nintendo on my ass, there's no way I can get away with a review. Yeah, so fun fact, Nintendo are assholes. But I still love them. I'm like an abused partner. Nintendo treat me badly all the time as a British gamer. From the Super Nintendo days all the way through N64 to GameCube. We didn't get Animal Crossing for 2.5 years after it got released in America. That's borderline abuse. I feel bruised, battered, hurt and shamed. But I still love Nintendo. And I always have, and I always will. But I can't show much of their stuff on my channel, unfortunately. And I'd love to, because I think the Switch is going to need all the help it can get. It's not a bad system in any way, shape or form, but it's going to struggle to find its market, because it doesn't know what its market is. And I would have loved to have helped highlight to even a handful of people what the system is capable of, how it can bring joy into people's lives, but Nintendo thought otherwise. Hey ho. But yeah, I'm drifting off. I'm going off topic. I was talking about Blues Brothers getting me a copyright strike. Oh man. Okay, right, so I've accidentally set this in 2-player mode, and player 2 is being controlled by the mouse. So I'm gonna have to magically kill him off somehow. Can we escape? F10 maybe? No. This might be the shortest play of a game yet on the channel. Holy crap. I think I've killed it. Yep. Oop. Come on, come on. Come on. Oh, I've killed the music. There we go. Just die already. There we go. Alrighty. Let's try that again in single player mode. I'm going to fast forward the loading, because it does load an awful lot. Ow! Respawning enemies. One of the old video game tropes that I loathe. Okay, why am I dancing like my legs are broken? What the hell? Okay, making our way up. My reaction times are slow as balls. I'm getting old, and this game sucks. I'm not playing that no more. Sorry guys, that is awful. It controls like slop. So let's try something else. At random, I have got my random selector picking. Oh, what have we got here? We've got Aladdin, the Amiga version, Sleeping Dogs Lie, Myth, History in the Making, Kickoff 2, Strider, Gnome, Midwinter, and Prophecy the Viking Child. There are some good games in that list. Oof, that is a tough call. I'll let you guys decide. First one to send me a message via the chat with their game selection of choice locks in the game. Off you go. Now it'll take a few moments because the chat is buffered, so I'm just going to talk and ramble, and hopefully somebody will talk and will type as we speak, and we'll be scrambling to find a message and send it my way. Any takers at all, any takers from those games. So we have Aladdin, Sleeping Dogs Lie, Myth, History in the Making, Kickoff 2, Strider, Legend of Carandia, Ween the Prophecy, Gnome, Midwinter, and Prophecy the Viking Child. Any takers at all. Oh. Anybody? Anyone? Strider. Okay, Strider it is. Thank you, Aphid. Now, I remember this port of Strider fondly. Let's hope my memory hasn't failed me and it's crap. Okay, Jose, we'll do Prophecy after Strider. Aphid did beat you to it. So, yeah, first come, first served. We will do Strider, and then we will do Prophecy the Viking Child. Okie dokie. That way everybody happy. What the hell's going on here? I think my game is a bit buggered. Okay. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. See, in America, people had their fear when they saw the LJN rainbow of shit. Over here in Europe, conversion by tier text. That is like kryptonite. Oh boy, am I ready for this? Am I ready for this? Okay, childhood memories about to be shattered and destroyed. People may die. Souls will be crushed. But let's go. Let's roll. Okay. Whew. So far, it doesn't look terrible. Could it be? Could it be? A semi-respectable tier text port? Really? It's a miracle! Hallelujah, brother! It's responsive. It runs at more than 4 frames a second. It's a tier text game that doesn't suck. I never thought I'd see the day. A tier text game that doesn't suck ass. That was cheap. I gotta get my bearings back with Strider. I'm gonna let my little droid do the work. Okay. Now this time I am leaping past those bad boys. Oh, I'm still gonna get clipped. No! Okay, that didn't quite go according to plan. Yeah, a few cracks are starting to show in this, but for a tier text conversion, it's exceptional. And it's quite a solid conversion of Strider. It looks, sounds, and feels like the game it's trying to be. That's a total win in my books. Okay, easy. Okay, easy now. Easy now. Okay, I survived that even though I got crushed with it. Ah, Double Dragon. Funnily enough, Aphid, I was playing Double Dragon about 2 days ago on the Amiga, doing the follow-up to my Versus fighting game list. I'm going to do a brawling, scrolling beat-em-up list. So I played all of the Double Dragons in succession on the Amiga. And yeah, the conversion hasn't aged well, let's put it that way. And I am totally gonna die. Lame. Nobody goes against Cortex. Now, I think they actually text changed that because Cortex are the group that released this game into the wild. Let's play it again. I didn't get far. You dare fight me? Yes, I do. I'm still absolutely astonished at the quality of this conversion for a tier text game. These are the same guys that could only allow 4 frames of animation in Street Fighter. And removed all the special moves from a fighting game. Yeah, those guys made this. Opla. It's responsive, it's smooth, the scrolling's pretty good. The graphics look nice. Colour me impressed. It's as I remember it. This was my version of choice back in the day. I wasn't a huge fan of Strider, but I believe when I got this game, it came in a compilation pack with Ghouls and Ghosts and a couple of other games from Capcom. Oh, Black Tiger I think was in there as well. Man, I love Black Tiger. What a game. Let's get under here already. Okay, I'm ready for you this time, bub. Yeah, I'm actually quite impressed by this. Considering the company that made it, I am suitably happily shocked. It's not perfect, and it could have been a lot better, but it's a respectable conversion. And that is the best I could ever ask for. Yeah. Where's the music gone? There we go. Wow, slow down aplenty. Okay, here's where the tier text I know and, well, I would say know and love, but just the tier text I know comes into play. Oh man! How unlucky was that? Wow, the slowdown. Yeah. You can see each individual frame of my sword swipe. Okay, and that sickle hit still hurt me. No, I probably won't either, Jose. At this rate, I am an old rusty gamer at this point. And that slowdown. Wow. I'm gonna die here, aren't I? Yep. Woo, power up. Man! You kidding me? Right, one more go. We'll skip. There we go. Okay. We'll get our little robo friend. Woo! Uh-oh. Okay, I misjudged that. Oh, yeah. Okay. So far, yeah, not bad. Oh, I'm in the wrong spot. That's not good. Okay, nice recovery. Oh, you hit me. Damn. Okay. Pa 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 pa. Okay, here we go. Right. Oh, that's it. Damn. You can see it coming when you mistime that jump. You can see it coming from a mile away. So you got to get in early. About now. No, I still got hit. Damn it, twice. Okay, that's unfair. Yeah! Alright. That's more like it. You really think you can win? You will never defeat the Lord. I'll give it a damn good go, buddy. Hum. This Strider hero, he will never leave Eurasia alive. The slowdown makes it more difficult because you can't judge your timing for the jump. And of course, you just see your death in slow motion. If you mistime that jump, you know you're finished. Okay. So it appears my copy of Strider is all kinds of messed up. Right. Yeah, that's fun. Oh, there's the giant monkey. I think my copy of Strider is gone to pastures new. It's bought the farm. Indeed, I think so. Next game might very well be on the cards because I cannot see shit. I'm still making progress, but I don't know how. It's funny, only the background sprites seem to be affected. The monsters and my platforms, wow, that is fast. But realistically, it's impossible. Like this, yeah, not gonna happen. Whew. No, I screwed it up. I'm dead. Ooh. And I've gotten behind the monkey. Smack him in the ass. Nope, gonna hit him in the head by the look of things. And again, the slowdown rears its head. Okay. And that is my really corrupted version of Strider. Okay, so I said the next game was going to be Prophecy, didn't I? So let's get Prophecy running. And that will probably be the last game of the night, because I've just noticed it's 3 AM, and here in the UK it's actually Mother's Day tomorrow. So yeah, I've got to take my wife out on behalf of our children. and basically give her a lot of love and affection, and I can't do that if I'm half dead from playing Amiga all night long. So we'll make this the last game. Let's hope it's a good one. We'll pretend we didn't see that cracked intro. Shh, it's not a legitimate copy. Don't tell anyone. A DMA Systems Limited production. I wonder if that's linked with DMA Design, who went on to do Lemmings and well, Grand Theft Auto. You may have heard of that. I wonder if that's the same company or whether that's somebody different. Who knows? We could wiki it, but I can't be asked.
Bring me the Viking child.
Alright, mate, calm down. Relax. An impactful intro. I think I may have shit myself, but never mind. Once upon a time, within a peaceful Viking village, lived Brian, the Viking child. One day, his master Herman set him out across the plains to gather herbs for his potions, so off Brian went, content with his task. It was quite a distance to the plains where his master had sent him to gather herbs, but Brian was happy and full of joy, because this was a bright and beautiful day. The sun was shining and there was a pleasant breeze. On his way, Brian stopped to watch some rabbits joyfully darting in and out of the trees, when he was totally unaware of the tragic events about to take place. Meanwhile, back at his village, a violent storm was brewing. A whirlwind swept in from the south, destroying everything in its path. Within a matter of minutes, the village was wrecked. As the dust and debris settled, an eerie silence fell over the once bustling village. Not a sound could be heard, apart from a gentle rustle of leaves in the breeze. All the village folk had disappeared and now nobody remained. It was unnatural how a whirlwind could come and go so quickly, but yet destroy a whole village. As Brian neared the village, a look of total horror swept across his face. He could not believe what he was seeing. Brian stood there for a while, shocked by the devastation laid before him. What the fuck? As Brian stumbled through the village, he passed what was once his home. Diving into the rubble, he started to search for his mother, father, and newborn baby sister. Alas, he found nothing. After what seemed like hours of fruitless searching, Brian sat down on a stone. A tear formed in his eye, his head sank slowly into his hands, and he started to weep. "Be brave, my child," a powerful voice boomed through the air. Brian raised his head, and there before him was the mighty Odin, with a rainbow as his steed and two jet-black ravens as his faithful companions. "Your grief is great, young Brian, but your story has been foretold by the oracle in the halls of Valhalla. A great task worthy of over the brain-infested warriors lies before you, my son, but it is one that only you can complete. The evil god Loki summoned the whirlwind which destroyed this village, and you must seek vengeance. Vanquish the evil god, young Brian, and you can rescue your friends and family." With that, Odin presented a vision of his friends and family, trapped in an astral plane deep within the annals of Valhalla. Brian had no idea how he was going to rescue them. I'm gonna guess a lot of killing. "How can I defeat the mighty Loki?" Brian asked Odin. The god looked down at Brian and answered, "Loki's evil has been spreading itself across the lands and darkened the souls of my weaker-minded creatures. So, young Brian, to defeat the evil god, you must travel the lands and rid it of all evil. Once done, you may enter the gateway to Valhalla. Inside, you will confront Loki." Once Brian heard what Odin had to say, he left the wrecked village that he once knew and loved with only a dagger in hand but courage in heart. He knew he was to fulfill a prophecy that the gods had created. That's a lot of text for a platform game. This game is brought to me by DMA Systems, part of the IDL group. Whoop-de-freaking-do, let's carry on. Let's Let's fast forward the loading. Okay. So we want music. I always like music over sound effects in most games. Insert disc B and press fire. Well, okie dokie. Let's get that prepped. Get ready for the village. Okay. I am ready. Wow. After all that, it looks a bit Wait, stop everything. Stop. Let's stop the audio. Let's stop everything. I have to see that again. I have to. Surely that wasn't the actual jumping animation, was it? Why? He's staring at his testicles in amazement as he falls. Wahoo! Yippee! Woo! Why? That's not the facial expression that somebody that's lost their entire family would actually do. Okay, alright. Moving on. I think I may have killed my headset even more with that. There we go. Right. Let's carry on. Way! Oh my word. Oh my word. Way! Greatest animation in history ever. Who made this? Oh my word. This is fantastic. Little mushroom. Oh boy. Oof. Hey! Okay, Jose, thank you so much for suggesting this. Oh, the animation is incredible. As good as even the worst bits of Monsterland, but you know, it's got a vibe. I think this is going to be a grower and not a shower. in respect that it's a game that I'll probably play a few times, but it's not one that you'll stare at awe in. Okay, we're going down the well. Holy crap, how long does it take to load? I'm doing fast forward there too. Yeah, Wonder Boy is probably more than 10 times better than this from what I can gather so far. This is, well, interesting. Okay, we're moving on. That thing's gonna kill me, isn't it? Ugh. At least you don't take full damage. It looked from the animation like you would, but no, it just delays your movement somewhat. But other than that, this is yeah, it's unremarkable. Let's put it that way. What do I have to do in this doorway? This is the first time I've ever played this game, so I literally have no idea what I'm doing. What those doors signify, if I can get through them. Hey Birdflu, this is Prophecy 1 the Viking Child on the Commodore Amiga. It's a game I've never played, and it's a game I will probably never play again, but it's interesting. And it was suggested by Jose. He said I should play it out of the selection of random games that I found with my random picker. And now I'm at a dead end. How do I get through the door? Yeah, Birdflu, it certainly appears that way. Except it has the most hilarious, and I mean hilarious, falling animation. It looks like he's staring at his own junk. And now it looks like he's sniffing something in his hand. Is he a stoner? Now what the hell do I do? Okay, spacebar does nothing. What do I do? How do I get out? Don't tell me it's one of these games where you have dead-end mistakes where you can't return if you cock up. Yeah, Birdflu, we were playing Wizkid before. And I think most people will really appreciate its 90s essence. And no, I cannot go through the door. I haven't figured it out. Maybe hold the fire button? No? Enter? Ah, enter. Right. Okay. I was trying space, but it's enter to go in the door. Which makes a lot of sense. And I die instantly. Great. Well then. Yabba dabba doo. Insert disc A. What the hell is that? What am I doing? Oh, this is my name entry. How crap. Right, let's skip through that. So I had to load a screen to put my name in. Do I want to play more of this? It'd be rude not to. This time, let's listen to the sound effects. Hopefully they're as hilarious as the animation. Okay, so let's put disc 2 in. Here we go, get ready for the village. I'm ready. Ready as I'll ever be. Okay. Way! Look at my junk! Woo! Well, the sound effects don't disappoint. The animation is awful. And now we know that enter enters, we can actually see what's in this doorway. It's a slightly pissed off looking chap. So we got bombs, or what the hell is that? Okay. Yeah, Bob's Bad Day was quite fun. I did like that as a puzzler. Okay, we have a couple of bombs. We have a couple of other items. Let's venture hilariously, shuffle our old man body. It looks like you're a 70-year-old man just trying to go for a Sunday stroll. Bloop. Until you look at your penis every time you jump. Junk time. Okay, pressing down on the controller actually activates one of your special abilities, like the bomb. They have a timer that lasts forever and a day. That is more than 5 seconds there, people. That is not cool. Wow. Okay, so what do the other ones do? Did I get a set of games recently? What did I get? Well, earlier in the stream I was just showing stuff that I had to hand that I was thinking of selling on eBay. It was kind of an impromptu show and tell. I just showed a few bits and pieces. But I have collected a couple of games recently. I collected a Nintendo Switch with Zelda, Breath of the Wild and Fast RMX. I also picked up Mass Effect Andromeda for the Xbox One. I picked up Flat Out 4, Total Insanity for Xbox One, which is a lot of fun, by the way. I do like that quite a bit. I picked up the 2017 remake of Chucky Egg on mobile phone, that I will be doing a video about, hopefully in time for Easter. Maybe do a Chucky Egg retrospective, now that there's a new game released. What else did I get recently? A couple of other bits. Horizon on PS4. But to be perfectly honest with you guys, between making videos that I don't have much time to do with my job and playing League of Legends, which is something I can do quickly for half an hour or so, I don't really play that many other games. Yeah, Chucky Egg the sequel, yeah, you might want to hold off judgment on that. I don't know how recently you've played it. I thought the same, Bird Flu. I thought the same until I started recording footage. Yeah, I had the Amiga version when I was a wee lad, and for some reason they decided that the already ridiculously difficult 8-bit versions weren't hard enough, and they actually increased the difficulty for the 16-bit versions, and it became impossibly difficult. But yeah, I have recently been recording footage for all formats, all Chucky Egg games, including on iPhone. and Chucky Egg 2 has not aged well. Nowhere near as well as the original, which on the BBC and the ZX Spectrum is still playable to this day. 16-bit versions, again, not so much. They're a bit too garish. The backgrounds are too bright and colourful, and they really obscure your view. But the 8-bit versions, incredible, including the Tatum-Einstein version, which is a system, until I started recording the footage for it, I'd never even heard of a Tatum-Einstein system before. But yeah, lo and behold, it was an obscure 8-bit computer with a similar power of an Acorn Electron, and yeah, playing Chucky Egg on that was an eye-opening experience. And I also didn't realise they did an Atari conversion. And yeah, Chucky Egg at school, right up there with Granny's Garden, and what was the... Oh, I've forgotten the name of it. The little pod guy. Was it Pod? P-O-D-D? Where you told him to explode, and he'd just burst into loads of different balls. Ah, those were the days at school. And then at my secondary school, we had Acorn Archimedes systems. And my teachers were pretty cool. They had a whole whack of games. What was it? Virus, we used to play at school. Mad Professor Moriarty. The Liverpool football game they had on there. It was a side-scrolling football game. What else did we have? We had Repton 3, I think it was. Yeah, quite a few games. Oh, and Swiv on the Archimedes was great. It was just as good as the Amiga original. But playing Virus at school was just cool. And before that, in primary... Ooh. Well, there's a funny story with that bird flu. Well, not really funny, it's kind of interesting. Did you know that in Chucky Egg 2, basically, A&F Software, the guys who did the original, folded before the 16-bit versions of Chucky Egg 2 were made. And before they went under, the guy who created Chucky Egg basically said, you can do what the hell you want with my franchise, but I want nothing to do with it. So I'm going to pull my character design and whatnot. And you can keep the name, you can do what you want with it, but nah, I'm walking away. So they redesigned him to be this giant walking egg. So all of the 16-bit renditions, including for Chucky Egg 1, the guy is shaped like an egg, rather than a person wearing a hat. That's purely because the guy who made Chucky Egg 1 wanted to make a Mr. Do style sequel. I think they were going to call it Chucky Apple, if I remember rightly, which was going to be a Mr. Do style sequel. But A&F wanted to do this platform adventure thing. The guy who created Chucky Egg hated the idea, so he walked away. And took his likenesses of his character with him. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. But I didn't know when I played Chucky Egg, because I played it first on the Amiga. I didn't realise that the game looped. So the Amiga version is already insanely difficult, but you've got to loop the game 4 times to fully complete it. And when you do loop it, it becomes even harder. So the Amiga difficulty is the equivalent of looping the 8-bit versions 4 times. That's the starting difficulty for the Amiga one. And the speed of the Amiga one was ramped up too. So while the 8-bit versions were no slouch, the 16-bit version just goes at a mental pace. And with iffy collision detection, pixel perfect jumps and everything else, it's just so difficult. It took me literally 40 minutes to get past the second screen on Chucky Egg 2, recording footage as an adult. The pixel perfect jumps you have to do in succession, and I really struggled, let alone getting through the rest of the game. It's so hard. It really ruined my enjoyment of the entire thing. Yeah, so I used to think Chucky Egg 2 was good. But in hindsight, nah, it was awful. And I'm dead. Okay, I think that's enough of Prophecy the Viking Child. I think we've got enough time for one more random game. So, let's hope it's a good one. Let's get the random selector. Was Pod on all school computers, or did you go to the same school as me? No, BBC, the British Broadcasting Corporation, had this drive for school coding and learning computers in education in primary schools. So they actually subsidised the cost of the BBC Micro and the BBC Electron for schools, and as part of that subsidy, they had a selection of educational programs that came with it for schools, and Pod and Granny's Garden, I believe, were part of that package. So it was a BBC Micro, British Broadcasting Corporation Micro. They're actually doing a similar drive now, but instead of a microcomputer, they've got like a Raspberry Pi equivalent, and this BBC programmable system. It's about the size of a credit card. That kids my son's age are now getting. My kid's 6, going to be 6 next month. And he'll be getting probably one of those BBC programmable systems. And I'm looking forward to seeing that, because I really think coding is important for kids. I wish I learned coding as a kid. The amount of jobs available now that you need to program for are in every walk of life. So I think it's a really good initiative. So yeah, having games to get them interested was a great way to go. So Granny's Garden was the adventure game, which was really creepy and really entertaining. And Pod was the logic programming system, where you had Pod, the bloke, the little guy, and you would tell him what to do, like Pod, go fuck yourself, Pod, kill yourself, Pod, eat a bag of dicks, and it would go and do whatever you told it to, within reason. None of those examples actually worked, apart from the Bob explode and then it'd pop into like different things. But I digress. Let's get a random game going. So, let's have a look. Excuse the poncho from hell. It's keeping me warm, even though it makes me look like a tard. Okay, so we got Microprose Golf, Space Ace, Tactical Manager, Cadaver, Stardust, Super Tennis Champs, Amber Star, I Play 3D Soccer, Final Fight, or Torvak the Warrior. First person to type in their selection, I'll play it. And this will be the last game of the night, guys, so yeah, make your selection. Whichever one you pick is the one we'll play. Final Fight. Okay. Final Fight it is. And again, harking back to what I remember being good compared to what actually is good, Final Fight is one of those interesting games where it was never quite as good as I thought it was. Yeah, sorry Bird Flu, Jose got there first with Final Fight. So, yeah, we're going to play Final Fight. It's going to be the last game of the night. Maybe next time we'll play Space Ace. But for now, it's just going to be beating people up in rapid succession. Let's hide the window for the random select. Now, I'm probably not going to last very long because the Amiga version is really difficult. Yeah, Space Ace was eye candy. I remember vividly reading in a magazine back in the day when I had my Amiga 500. The Amiga 500 I had was a 512k variant. And I remember seeing an advert for Escape from Singe's Castle Space Ace. Not Space Ace, Dragon's Lair. And it needed this 1 megabyte card. And the graphics were like nothing I've ever seen before. So of course I begged and cried and screamed at my parents to get me this memory stick that I could plug into my Amiga that could make this magic happen. And for that Christmas I got one, and I got a copy of Dragon's Lair Escape from Singe's Castle. And while the gameplay, well, is what we know it is, it's a quick time event, the visuals were just mind-blowing. As for Final Fight, yes, there are long pauses throughout the stages. There's no transition effects in between level. There's a big variation in the enemies that you meet. Some of the enemies you don't see. There are new enemies where other enemies were in the arcade, like the Big Ben and the Big Bull, or whatever his name is. You see them at the start. You didn't see them until like the second screen on the actual arcade edition. And Andor, you see Andor Jr. way early in this game. A couple of really weird ones. The control system's a little bit wonky as well. If you press a direction with fire, it does a jump kick, so turning around to hit somebody quickly is quite difficult. You notice there's no censorship in the Amiga version. In the console version, she's wearing a shortcut top, and the Amiga one, she's just in a bra and pants. Bet this is a better conversion than Outrun was. Well, yeah, you can't get much worse than Outrun, although many people have tried. I'll take your Outrun, and I will raise you Street Fighter 1. Anyway, Final Fight, here we go. Who are we going to play as? Love this game, but Streets of Rage is better. Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. You are absolutely 100% right. Streets of Rage 3, in particular, is the greatest side-scrolling beat-em-up of all time for me. The music is better than in Streets of Rage 2, but the style of game, the flow, the multiple branching endings, yeah. Streets of Rage 3, greatest fighting game ever, scrolling beat-em-up wise, followed by Guardian Heroes on the Sega Saturn, followed by everything else. Now, as you can see, I'm already down to half a health bar. Good job, there's food. Now, you can see the colours are kind of muted compared to the arcade original. And it's a little less busy. Animation's a little bit more choppy. Slowdown's a little bit more prevalent. But the Amiga version still has it where it counts. It feels like Final Fight. And in this era, feel was everything. You didn't expect to have arcade perfect conversions of high profile games like this. As long as they felt like the game that you wanted them to be, that was good enough. Here's a really good example of slowdown and how brutal this version of the game is. It's way harder than the arcade version in my opinion. But one thing you will notice, as I say, some enemies do not appear in this game, like the Elgato guys, the ones that have the flames. You don't see those in the first level, and they're replaced on the train level as well. He is damned. You notice a couple of changes here as well. You notice Damned isn't sitting on the subway station waiting for me. And you also notice that Andor is here for the first time, not later on in the game. So you've got to contend with that dude as well as down on the very first level. No problem for Hagar though. Unfortunately, there's no music in the Amiga version. It's sound effects only, which is a real shame. I like the arcade's sound effects and music. Yeah. But I guess the music would slow down with the game when it gets real hectic. So it's probably a wise decision that they didn't include it. So here we've got a pause. I'm waiting for the game to load. I am now on a train. Wow, that was brutal. My health just melted. Okay, anyone else want some? Anyone at all? Poison. You notice, unlike the Super Nintendo version, Poison actually looks female in this one and is not replaced by Sid. Little did we know that back at this time that Poison was a man in a woman's clothing. First, could she be the first LGBT game character in existence? Quite possibly. Wonder what Arnita Sarkeesian would think about that. Let's see what she thinks of gender identifiers now when she finds out Poison's a man. It's a man. That means it's perfectly acceptable for me to beat her up, and that's the sole purpose of why Poison was a transgender character. Because then it's okay to beat them up, because they're dudes. You can't hit a lady, but you can hit a guy in a dress. Or a very skimpy skirt short thing. And I'm down to my last life on my first credit already. Look how my health just disappears. There's literally no escape from that when it starts. Ow. But there we go. As I say, no Elgatos, no flaming guys like the arcade one was. We're straight into the next area. And we're getting pasted even by the little guys. But you notice some small effects are still evident from the arcade game. The drips in the background still there, which is always nice to see. However, barrels have been replaced by Hong Wong Hu and oh, I'm dead, and I've selected Guy as a replacement. Okay, so we're playing as Guy from now on. Even though I'm the fastest character in the game, I still can't punch quick enough. And here we go, we're up against Sodom. Also known as tongue-tied now. Also known as Katana in some versions of the game. But original name, Sodom. Like Sodom and Gomorrah. Have it! Down you go. Okay, moving on. Guy is better. I'm a big fan of Hagar, purely because he's so iconic. He does so much damage with his spinning pile driver, but on the Amiga version, it's very difficult to kind of move away when you can't escape. Ah, there we go. I'm gonna die. Look, there's no escape from that. I can't do anything. When you're backed into a corner, you are screwed in this version. Yeah, even your special attack takes a bit to wind down. And even though you can use it infinitely on the Amiga version and it doesn't reduce your health, you've still got to wait for that that frame to kick in before you become invincible using it. I spent all this time finding out if Poison was originally transgender or not. Either way, that's hot. Yeah. Yeah, Poison's a guy, according to the official canon by Capcom. And they did it for the sole reason that it became more socially acceptable if she's dressed like a woman but is actually a man, to be able to hit her. Because hitting a woman, of course, is frowned upon in all walks of life. So they thought it would be more morally acceptable for players if it was really a guy dressed like a woman. Of course, in the Super Nintendo version, being LGBT is unacceptable by Nintendo standards, so they replaced them entirely with guys called Sid, and I've forgotten what the other one was, but Sid was one. And they completely ruined the purpose of Final Fight anyway by making it single player only, which is a great shame. But luckily the Mega CD version was uncensored and it was, well, very close to arcade perfect. The Mega CD version of Final Fight is fantastic, and up until the Xbox 360 and PS3 came out, it was probably the best way to play it, outside of those Capcom Classics collections that you could buy. Here comes the copper. Come on, Eddie, eat. Now, you watch me get brutalized at this point. Unless you get the timing of the punch just right, you can't hit them. And they get either side of you, and you're just destroyed. Come on, let's get in the rhythm. Yeah, okay, we're good. We got him. Okay, where are we now? Oh, the factory. Yeah, the Super Nintendo version only had 2 of the 3 characters as well, which was a great shame. At first it was Cody and Hagar, but later on they released Final Fight Guy, also known as Final Fight Tough, and that replaced Cody with Guy. So no matter which version of the Super Nintendo one you had, you couldn't get all three characters in, and you couldn't have multiplayer. Real missed opportunity. Really missed. They did kind of redeem themselves with Final Fight 2 and 3, but yeah, what should have been a practically perfect conversion on the SNES was just ruined. Such a shame. Ooh. This section in the arcade was ridiculous. The amount of enemies it threw on screen at you in this part was just designed to eat your money away. They couldn't seriously expect anybody to survive it on their own, not without pumping a couple of credits in. On the Amiga it's more manageable, this area, but it's still pretty tough. And I'm probably not going to survive through it. Especially not if I get cornered like that. I'm not even at the end yet. Streets of Rage 1, huh? Better than 2 and 3? Oh, I think you're in the minority on that one. I know I'm quite controversial with preferring 3 to 2, but 1, it's a great game, don't get me wrong, but I would say it's the weaker of the 3 by a long margin. I'm guessing they only put one player in Final Fight, Jose, because, well, the SNES doesn't have a fast processor, and it probably struggled with the amount of sprites on screen and slowed down a ridiculous amount. That's what I reckon anyway. But Streets of Rage 3 for me, it may not sound the best audio-wise, but it's got the best control, it's got the best combos, it's got branching stories, branching levels, hidden characters up the wazoo. You had so much in Streets of Rage 3, so many innovations, so many graphic tweaks. Yeah, I think for my money, Streets of Rage 3 is my favourite. Although the soundtrack, undoubtedly Streets of Rage 2. Here's a fun fact for Final Fight anyway. You know, we were talking about Poison being LGBT and transgender. Well, you may have noticed that Poison is one of the character names in the game, but also Axel and Slash are in this game as well. So the guys who made Final Fight are big 80s rock fans. So Poison was a huge hit for Alice Cooper back in the day. And Axel and Slash, well, Axl Rose was the lead singer of Guns N' Roses, and Slash was the lead guitarist, so they were immortalised in the game as homage to their music, which they used to well, basically have as background noise while they programmed it. They thought they'd add that into the game as character names. And that's a game over. So that was Final Fight on the Amiga. Not a bad conversion by any means. I'd say it's actually pretty good considering the hardware and the time it took to actually produce. If they'd have spent another year really working with the hardware, then it could have been better, but ain't nobody got time for that. Oh, I'm getting emails. Ooh, exciting. Spam, yay. yes, the clocks have gone forward. Yeah, so it is late as balls. The Final Fight Revenge is not as bad as everybody says it is, Jose. Final Fight Revenge, again, it's not the greatest game in the world, but it's certainly not the travesty that a lot of people paint it to be. There's quite a few redeeming features about Final Fight Revenge. I do like the fact that it's got a wide range of playable characters from the other games. And it's certainly by no stretch the black sheep of the Final Fight family. The black sheep of the Final Fight family is Final Fight Streetwise, which was terrible. Altered Beast on the PS2 was bad. Final Fight Streetwise was terrible. Golden Axe Beast Rider was terrible. These are career genre franchise ending games. Final Fight Revenge was, it was just a mishap. But you haven't seen an Altered Beast since the PS2 one, and you haven't seen a Golden Axe since the Beast Rider, and you probably never will, because it was that freaking bad. They're career enders. They really are. I can't think of many other games recently that have been so bad they will ruin their franchises for life. But those, yeah, they certainly did. They certainly did. And yeah, they are rightfully harassed and harangued. But Final Fight Revenge, yeah, I kind of like it, to be fair. I see its appeal. I see what they were trying to do with it. I think graphically it's quite impressive as well. Yeah, it's a good game. But not a great one. You know what we need? A game that I haven't seen for a long time. Not since the Dreamcast days. We need another Dynamite Cop. That's what we need. We need them to try and remake or reboot or do something with the Dynamite Cop series. Even if it's like a £10 downloadable game. Wouldn't you love to see Dynamite Cop on an Xbox One or a PS4? Wouldn't that be freaking cool? Dynamite Cop had it all. Short gameplay bursts of hilarity. You had lots of different weapons to pick up, lots of hidden areas. You had those little quick time events that were unobtrusive, but they broke up the gameplay. It was a game that you can play over and over again. Had a great time with your friend. I'd love to see a new one. I would love to see Dynamite Cop 3. And it's based loosely on the Die Hard movies. In fact, the first Dynamite Cop was called Die Hard Arcade on the Saturn. And I loved it. We need a new Dynamite Cop. We need a new Dynamite Cop. I would love a new Dynamite Cop. I would love a new Virtua Cop as well, but that's never going to happen. Unfortunately, the run and gun on-rail shooter is dead, which is a great pity. Yeah, in Japan it was Dynamite Deka. Dynamite Deka 2 was on Dreamcast, and Dynamite Deka 1 was the Saturn Die Hard Arcade in Japan. Both games are great, and I'm so tempted to just boot it up now, but it's 4 AM. There's no way in hell I can start playing Dynamite Deka now. Even though I do have it just over there. Yeah, I can't play it now. Nah, I'm far too tired. You can see I've got black eyes. I've had a long day at work, and then, yeah, I had a good time playing, but I can't play anymore. Not tonight. Yeah, Dynamite Cop will never happen. The license is too expensive. Sega have just clammed up. They're not making any more games outside of... You could play Space Ace. Really? I could play Space Ace. Well then, I could. Is it available? Is it on hand? 5 discs, huh? Okay. Alright, let's do Space Ace. Right, but I need a bit of prep on it first, because there's no way I'm swapping out 5 freaking discs. So, what do we need to do? We need to apply these in sequential order to make sure I can switch between them quite easily. Okay, here we go. And it won't work on an A1200, so I'm going to have to adjust my system slightly. Run the system in A500 mode. Don't forget the prophecy 10 out of 10. Now, what was the cheat code? Oh god, I can't remember. Let's Google it. Uncle Google knows everything. So, Space Ace cheat code. See you later, Aphid. Hope you had a good time. I'll see you on the next one. Okay, so the cheat code is
Space Ace.
right. So we have to pause the gameplay on the first screen, and then do demo Dexter is the cheat, and then you press fire and enter.
There's more ship.
I'm just gonna have to adjust my controls again very briefly. Okay. Oh, am I actually playing? Okay, well, maybe not. No, I can hear the beeps when I press now. It's starting to get ready. Yeah, okay. So we pause when Borf comes on screen. Borf is the big blue asshole that attacks me. And we type in do demo Dexter. Let's see if it worked. Okay. Yeah, I played this to end without it as well, a long time ago. As I said before, back when I had Escape from Singer's Castle. You can't see the Amiga screen. Oh yes, it's still on my camera, that's why. Just bear with me one tick. There, you should see it now. Okay, so do demo Dexter. There we go. It's an autoplay mode now. So we're going to watch Space Ace in its entirety. This was mind-blowing animation, even in the arcade back in the day. Seeing this hand-drawn on the Amiga with this clarity was incredible. Yeah, what a showcase for the system. What a showcase for arcades. It was graphically the future. This is what all games were going to look like. This is what they deemed in the early 1980s that all games were going to play like. Luckily, not all of them played like this, but I'm so glad that the visual style that these games introduced is now finally coming to reality for every single game on the planet. You've got the cartoony games that look like they're straight out of your TV set. You've got the 3D polygon games that look fairly lifelike and realistic. And animation silky smooth, just like these games showed all the way back in the 80s. when did Dragon's Lair come out? Was it 1983? And then this came out about 1987, if I remember rightly. However, we may have to get this re-going. Yeah, Guy Spy I was not a fan of. I never played it fully. And this has crashed. I'm going to try a different Amiga configuration, and hopefully that will get it to work. So we're going to reboot. I'll have to do the cheat again. Do demo Dexter. Do demo Dexter. There we go. Okay, so we'll just replay it from here. Phew. Ooh. Yeah, graphically incredible. Even though the scenes are only a second or two long, it was just, yeah, astonishing. Now this looks a bit more likely that it's working. Power light isn't flashing as crazy as it was before. Maybe I gotta swap discs, because it does kind of work a bit funky on this. No joy there. Let's try a different disc. Let's try putting in disc 2. Right, there is more than one way to get this bloody thing going. If at first you don't succeed, cheat. Right. Let's get a... Let's get a nice HD version of Space Ace going. The Amiga version. Alright, I'm just going to preview this super quick, just to make sure it's all working. Yep, I'm going to steal footage, because I am the horrible person that will do that, just to appease some of my my viewers. So we are going to hide the Amiga screen. Game capture wapow. Let's open up a new window capture. And let's see if this will work. It should do. Hopefully this will work. I'll be very disappointed if it doesn't, so how are we doing? It's not quite showing up yet. So there's more than one way to skin a cat. I will just show my display capture. There we go. So I am now showing the display. I am ripping this totally off. So I repeat, this is not my footage. I am borrowing this from amigamers.tv. So thank you very much, amigamers.tv. I will make sure I will contribute you when this gets uploaded to YouTube. This is the Amiga version long play, but somebody else is playing it for me. Okay? That way we get to see the ending without having to faff about with disc swaps and any of that crap. So here we go. Without further ado. Then I'm going to be super cheeky and I'm going to put my camera over the top. Hey! Never seen this bit before. Okay, he's also cut out the loading times, which is very nice of him. Thank you for that. Amigamers, whoever you are. It's amazing to think that this was running on a computer that was originally released in 1985. Quite stunning, really, isn't it? It still looks good to this day. Dexter! It's only when you look back at this game you realise how disjointed each individual scene is. There's not much linking each individual section or each individual act to the next. I mean, this bit there is fine. You know, you swung onto the platform and down he goes, but then from there to here, there's... Where'd the princess go? Why'd he turn back to a little boy? What the hell's going on? The Infanto Ray. What great animation.
Isn't he adorable? Hey.
And that is the end of the game. Now bear in mind that Space Ace, when it was first released, cost an absolute fortune. It was much more expensive than most games. I think it was something like 40 quid when it first came out. It was like really expensive. And I was very, very lucky to have parents that bought it for me. I remember Escape from Singe's Castle cost like £100 with the memory add-on, which back in the early 90s was a lot of money. So 40 quid for a game when most cost £19.99 or £24.99, it was a lot of change. And while it was a showcase, let's be honest. That's why you bought it. It was to show off the machine to your friends. Yeah. While it was a showcase, it was a piss poor game. We played it to death because it looked great. We played it to death because we had to get the value out of the cost. We felt obligated to enjoy it. But realistically, the game was crap. It just looked amazing. It is the ultimate example of graphics do not make a great game. They can complement one, absolutely, but once you strip those graphics away, if your game is shoddy, after a play or two, people are going to find out, and it's going to bite you in the ass in the long haul. Space Ace got an... Well, it never got really an official sequel, did it? I don't remember it having a sequel in the arcade anyway. But the Amiga version had a follow-up, Space Ace 2. I may be mistaken, it may have come out in the arcade as well. I know Dragon's Lair had Escape from Singe's Castle, which was an unofficial sequel. It was basically a selection of missing scenes that was taken out from the original Dragon's Lair. Dragon's Lair, as it stood, was on 6 discs, and they still took out a bunch of content. So they released it as its own game. And then they released Dragon's Lair 3, Time Warp, I think it was, something along those lines. But by that point, people had cottoned on that it's just a pretty visual. There's not much of a game there, and they bombed, and rightly so. And then Dragon's Lair went away for a while. They tried to bring it back with 3D implementations, which failed horribly. There was a Game Boy version of Dragon's Lair, which wasn't Dragon's Lair. It was actually a ZX Spectrum game called Roller Coaster, just completely reskinned. They released a SNES platform game, a NES version as well. They were all games that were loosely tied to the original, but yeah, it never had the same impact that the original had, because everybody realised that the graphics were shielding this awful game. When you boil it down to its essence, if you take all the graphics away, you're just pressing buttons in time. The Super Nintendo version was awful. The cancelled Mega Drive version was equally bad, which you can now play an unreleased version of if you wanted to. The NES version had problems. Funnily enough, because the Game Boy version was based on a game that actually had playability, it's still fun. Although the reskin, I don't really agree with. I think the original's better. But I digress. It is now 4 AM. It's Mother's Day now. I've got to pretend that the gifts I've gotten her for a Mother's Day are from my children. So I've got to wake up in 3 hours, get them to write in the cards and hand the gifts over, and generally be sporty and happy. So on that note, if I stay here any longer, I will be falling asleep at the lunch that I'm going to set up for my wife. So this is it, folks. This is me for tonight. Thank you very much for staying with me. I hope you had a good time. I had a good time playing these games. I always have a good time going back and playing games in the past. So yeah, I'm glad that you enjoyed the ride. For those of you that have stayed with me the whole time, thank you very much. I appreciate your company for the last 3 hours. For those of you that have jumped in and out, well, I'm glad that you enjoyed some of it and that the bits you caught were interesting, hopefully. If you want to support me and you want to help me work more towards this channel, I have a Patreon, which is patreon.com/Juggernaut. You can find my social links down there. They're all down there. All my gamer tags and everything else, it's all pretty much the same. There's Juggernaut.com, which I'm going to relaunch at some point because I got hacked and now it's shit. My Facebook is Juggernaut Games. Everything else is Juggernaut, so yeah. Look me up, hit me up, add me as a friend on Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, what have you. And until next time, have a good one. Bye for now.